Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of this newsletter is going to be kissing, affection, and sensory acuity. Something that is extremely super important if you want to have great, healthy, effortless relationships with women, or to seduce the kind of women that you've always wanted. Got an email here from a viewer, and he says, "Hey Corey, I've got a pretty complicated situation, at least in my eyes." He says, "So recently I went out with this girl. I had a great date, but I've kind of went overboard kissing her at the end of it. I had a feeling that it was all bad the moment we went our ways, but she texted me that she had a wonderful night with a smiley face, and I figured it wasn't as bad as I thought." Well, here's the thing. I talk about this in my book. You got to understand, when it comes to affection and touching and holding hands and those kinds of things, women are like cats. And you have to develop your sensory acuity to the point where you pay attention. Because sometimes you'll be walking down the street holding hands with a girl that you're dating or your girlfriend or even your wife, and they're going to let go. And when that happens, you got to let them go. You got to let them walk away. And you just keep going on about your life. And a couple of minutes later, as you're walking, what will happen is their arm or their hand will start bumping into yours, and then they'll just grab your hand and start holding it again. But when they let go, if you grab their hand back right away, or when you're kissing and making out with a girl and she pulls back and you pull her in and keep trying to kiss her again, you've got to be patient and hang back and chill out for a few minutes and let her have the space. You've got to love the other person in such a way that they feel free, and that includes affection. And so when the other person backs away, you just let her go. Let her have the space. And as you're talking a few minutes later, you just say, "Bring those beautiful, delicious lips back over here and let me kiss them softly again." And then she'll smile and she'll reach in, or she'll lean in, and you'll start kissing and making out. And then you get a little further. You get the bra undone, you get the shirt off, maybe you get the zipper undone. It's 2 steps forward, 1 step back. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And the 1 step back is where you let them go and you let them have the space. Because when you let a girl have a space, it's just like a cat. The cat will realize that you're not going to chase after it, and it'll come back and sit in your lap and start purring. So he says, "Well, a few days went by, and I texted her again, wondering if she would like to go out to dinner. And she gave me the whole 'I'm busy this weekend, maybe next week' speech. When a girl says maybe next week, I would have said, 'Great, what day are you free next week?' And send that back. And she'll respond one of two ways. She'll tell you a specific day that she's free, then you make the definite date for then. Or she'll say this, 'Oh, I'm not sure, I'll have to get back to you.' Like, 'Great, just get back to me when you figure it out. I'd love to see you.' And that's all you got to say. You got to give her the space to walk away. Now, if she never calls you or texts you back, then it means you blew it and you fucked up." So he said, "Okay, no worries, have a good weekend." She then texted me that she had been researching music and found a really cool song that she told me about. She knows I'm really into music. He says, "I didn't respond, just thinking we'd talk about it some other time." Dude, I want you to take your right hand, reach out, and choke yourself. It's like, so you called her and she said maybe next week. And so the problem was you just assumed that she didn't want to see you because that was your belief. But she brought up, that was her counteroffer, maybe next week. I would say, "Great, what day are you free next week to get together?" Send that. Make a definite date, but you were weak. And you didn't do it. And you walked away, but she still reached out a few days later and she texted you about music. "Oh, hey, great to hear from you. When are you free to get together next week?" That's what I would have said. But instead, you just ignored her and you just totally blew it. So he says, "I didn't respond, just thinking we'd talk about it some other time." Well, her maybe line got me thinking, and I decided I would contact her in 2 weeks instead of the next week because her interest obviously wasn't grand at that point. When I did, I got no response for a week. I sensed something was up, and I texted her, "Hey, if there's something I did wrong, I'm sorry." You're like, she was like running a silver platter, dude. And like, even though you were a little creepy and you pursued too much, she still reached out to you. You had a total great opportunity to set a date. But instead, you just blew her off. And so when it happens is the week goes by, the girl starts to think, "Oh, he really wasn't that into me. He was just trying to get some pussy." That's what she starts to think. And so 2 weeks go by. Then that's what happens. That's what goes in her mind. She starts talking to her girlfriends about you, and that's what she thinks. It caused her to feel like you really didn't think she was that special. When you did, you're just playing games with her, when you didn't need to. All you had to do was arrange the next date. Always get to the point. Arrange a date and get off the phone. Don't ignore a girl's text. It's just stupid to do that. You just totally fuck things up unnecessarily. And then the girl starts wondering, why didn't he text me back? Why did he ignore me? Oh, he must not like me. Or he must have figured, oh, well, if I'm not going to get in her pants and fuck her, I don't want anything to do with her. That's what she thought. So then he says, her response back is, she then texted me that I did nothing wrong, but felt I was just down to hook up and not date, and she wasn't into that. I.e., my kiss was way overboard, LOL. You're assuming that. He says, he then says, I worried that you got that vibe, but then that really wasn't my intention. Let me take you out to dinner, no strings attached. Ooh, let me prove myself to you. You're not helping your case here. This is where it gets interesting in my eyes. She said she had been dating this guy from the online site that we met on, and she really liked him and didn't want to do anything to screw that up. Yeah, so she's obviously dating 2 other dudes, and when you blew her off like that and you ignored her, she just assumed that you didn't want anything to do with her, and you weren't that into her, when you really were. It's like, you fucked up, and that's the thing. It's like, she had him and she had you, and you completely took yourself right out of the game, and this other guy that she was dating obviously was not screwing up like you were. He was direct, he got to the point, and he made dates with her. And so therefore, she formed more of an emotional bond with this other guy. He says, I found her saying she really liked him was a bit unnecessary. Is she testing me? No, you've basically disqualified yourself because you ignored her instead of making a definite date. You completely fucked it up unnecessarily with this girl. He says, then she said, but I'd definitely be down to meet up for a music event in the future with a smiley face. I said, okay, fair enough. I'll let you know the next time I find something good. My question is she still interested in me romantically, or just looking for someone to hang out with? Well, she basically puts you in friend zone, and you acquiesce to it. He says, also, I've considered saying we should go out for brunch or lunch. Oh, okay, now you're going to try the friendship route and go to lunch. If you want to be your lover, act like her lover. If you want to be her friend, do things her friend would do. And now you're going back to old programming that thinks, okay, well, I couldn't get in her pants by dating her. Now I'm going to try to get in her pants by being her male girlfriend and letting her tell me all about the guys she's actually sleeping with. You're not going to get anywhere except blue balls with that approach. He said, also, I've considered saying we should go for lunch instead because you can't hear each other at music shows. Going out to dinner appears out of the question right now, but then wondered if her offering was good enough and just to go with it. I'm so confused. What do I do? Well, I've already explained where you screwed up with this particular girl. And she's basically told you that, hey, I'm hooking up with some other guy, and so I wouldn't do anything with this girl. I wouldn't reach out to her. I wouldn't text her. I wouldn't do anything. You just chalk it up to the fact that you fucked up, because now you've agreed to the friendship thing. And if I were you, I would just walk away and move on and never look back, and just realize the next time when a girl says maybe next week, if she had no interest in you at all, she would have said, oh, I can't. I'm busy this week. Sorry. That would have been her response. But her response was, I'm busy this week. I can't. Maybe next week. And then a guy that knew what he was doing would have said, oh, okay, great. When are you free to get together next week? ? That would have been his next response. And obviously she would have responded to you saying, oh, I'm free on Tuesday, or I'm free on Thursday, or I'm free on Wednesday, or I'm free on Sunday, or I'm free on Friday night. Whatever it is, she would have communicated it, and then you would have arranged a definite date to get together, and you would have been fine. But it's like you completely took yourself out of the competition with this girl by ignoring her and letting a bunch of time go by, and then she just assumed you didn't like her and things were going well with this other guy because he was doing things right and you did things wrong. And so sometimes that's the difference between succeeding and getting blown off. And in this particular case, you fucked it up for yourself. So next time when a girl offers you a counter, you'll take advantage of it and make a definite date. So if you have a question you want to ask me, go to my website, click the Contact Me tab, which will be on the left-hand side of your screen. Send me 1 to 2 paragraphs max, and just give me several weeks to get back to you with a response. If you want to talk to me right away, the quickest way to get my help is to book a paid phone coaching session. You can do that by going to my website, click the Products tab, which will be at the top of your screen, and just follow the instructions. If you want to get a digital version of my Kindle ebook, on my website, underneath the email sign-up box, is a box that has a link that will take you right to the Amazon Kindle download page for my book, Once you get there, if you don't have a Kindle device, just download one of their free e-reader apps for whatever electronic device you want to read my book on. And if you appreciate the value of the information I offer in these video newsletters, the articles on my website, or my ebook, you can show your appreciation right now by going to my website, and on the Wibbia toolbar at the bottom of your screen, click the PayPal donate button and donate any amount that you feel is equal to the value of the information. And I will talk to you soon.